Today we are going to do a little paper cutting ready for Easter. Paper cutting is also referred to as sierensnita or wisznanki. That's Polish or Swiss. It's an ancient art. Chinese started it, I guess. It's paper cutting, and the ancient art, they used to use sheep shears. Well, I don't use sheep shears, and I don't use scissors. Some people use scissors. I'm not a scissor person. I am a craft knife person. Some people use scalpels. I do have some scalpels, but I try and stay away from those. They're very, very sharp. These are sharp as well. This is a standard craft knife with a number 11 blade. I always use a number 11 blade. They are easy to find. You find them in the modeling section, craft sections. You can find them in hardware stores. Anyway, you want the number 11 blades, and you want a comfortable grip because you're going to hold it just like you would a pencil, and you're going to use that very, very sharp tip. Now, we are going to do an Easter egg today, but you can do many things. These are some patterns that I purchased online, but you don't have to. You can design your own. You can also go out to the internet and find all sorts of patterns. Greeting cards make great patterns. You will find things and you'll think, oh, that would make a really good paper cutting. Something like the ironwork on a fence or the gingerbread on an old Victorian house. Oftentimes those look like paper cuttings. So here's one that I already did. And this is an Easter egg. And I did paper cutting and a little bit of hole punching. You can use hole punches on paper cuttings. You can also use this open pin, did some little hole punches. So here's the pattern that I'm going to work on. If you're interested, I have these patterns. You can always stop by the library and I could arrange to get them to you. But like I said, go out to the internet. Lots of things you can find there. So with paper cutting, you can use a stack of magazines to cut onto that you don't want anymore. You don't want those magazines, you're going to cut them up. Or you can use a self-healing mat. This is a small one. You can get larger ones. You can find them in the quilting departments. Self-healing means that you can cut into it and it's not going to destroy it. So there's our mat. Here's my pattern. I usually draw or trace them. These I've copied with a copying machine onto your paper. I'm using parchment paper. There are a lot of different kinds of parchment paper you can find at the craft store. This happens to be what they call natural colored. But right here in this folder, I've got blue, green, kind of a peachy color here. So you can even do different colors. And after you get your paper cutting done, this one, I put a large hole up at the top because I thought I'd put some thread and hang it in the window, and then the sun will come through that. You could also take watercolors and tint this, and it would be very pretty. So here's our design. This is a simple design. It is mostly either straight lines or curves. Very gentle curves are easy for a paper cutter to cut. So I'm going to lay this down, our design side up, and I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. And I'm going to poke down and pull towards me till I come to the end. Then I come to the top again, trying to start where you started before. You can't always see, but you'll know. And come to the end. And then I use my point and I pull that piece out. Sometimes they stick and you just pull that out. You want to get it as close as you can because if you have to pull that out, it leaves what they call whiskers and you don't want those. So I'm going to work my way around. I'm poking and pulling, and I'm poking and pulling. This is a very inexpensive craft. You can use any kind of paper you want. See, so far. And I'm going to work my way around, poke and pull. If you're not right on the lines exactly, you're okay. Sometimes we cut through things. That's okay. It'll still look fine. Poke, pull, poke, pull. Okay, so we've got those first ones out. Then I look at the next piece, this little triangle. So I'm going to go poke and pull, poke, pull, and a third one. And we've got that out. So I'm going to work my way around. Now see, it's got a kind of a small curve to it. That's easy for you and your knife to follow. Poke and pull and pop it out. Poke, pull, pull it out. And one more. Poke, pull, pull it out. So far, that's the kind of design we've got. Okay, so I'm going to work my way around doing this. Now, use firm pressure. You want to cut through the paper. If you don't use firm pressure, you're going to tear the paper. And you don't want to do that because that won't look pretty on our design. See, I just continue to go around. It's really not that hard. Poke, pull, poke, pull. You can move the paper towards you, however you need, as long as you start at one point and pull towards you. Because if you try pulling away from you, that also can tear the paper. You don't want to do that. Okay? So far, so good. Now I've got these big ones up here. And I'm going to do the same thing. Poke and pull. And you start to get a feel for it. And you can always turn it over and look on the back. The front side where the copy is, that's our bad side. When we're done, we're going to flip it over, and this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so if we've got the hang of this, I'll show you how to do the outside. You see how this is kind of fluted around the edges? So when you get all of this done inside, and I realize I'm not done yet, but we want to move on. You can start anywhere on the outside and just start doing those curves. Take your knife and just follow the curve. And follow the curve. Follow the curve. Keeping your knife down. You don't need to keep bringing it up. And I'm going to cut this piece away so that you can see. That's what that would look like. And when you get this piece all done, started with this, and then there's what I started with, and here's what I end with. And like I said, just put a piece of string through there, and you can hang this on an ornament. You could do an egg tree with this. There are all sorts of designs. Here are some of the different designs that you can do for Easter eggs. These are also really easy to do for Christmas stars and Christmas ornaments. And if you go out to Google, you can Google paper cutting designs, easy paper cutting designs, and you'll find all sorts of designs that you don't have to pay for. And again, a craft knife, some magazines, or a very small healing mat, and paper. And that's all it takes. And this is another simple craft that you can do at home. So thank you for being with me today, and be safe.